All right, it is Wednesday, January 7th, and I'm back with the Wonder Twins, Alyssa, Farah, Griffin, Sara, Haines.
The Wonder Twins.
We just got off the elevator from the live show, and the two of you just left to go to the bathroom together. I feel very much like I'm in homeroom in high school.
We pee together.
Yes,
we go everywhere.
We hold hands under the stall.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If we need a treat or a snack, hey, you want to walk with me? We do that.
Yeah, okay. This is a thing, apparently. Yes. All right, well, welcome to Behind It. Yes. Here we go. Let's talk about this. What I thought was a fantastic show today. Really one of the best shows we've had in a while. We had former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene with us again. The interview, much like the last one, was substantive and conversational. And this time, though, I think we dug a little deeper and got a little bit more into where she is, what she believes. This is her first interview coming out of Congress. It was a great booking, very well produced. What do you guys, and very well hosted, has your opinion of Marjorie Taylor Greene changed from this last appearance to the new one? Because there's been, having spoken to all the hosts, there's been different versions. Sunny, she's even said it on the show today, has never really bought the change in character for Marjorie Taylor Greene. Whoopi has been a little more open to it. Where are you guys right now?
Good question. I take her largely at face value, but in the sense that you talked about this a ton on the show, I do believe that she was deeply impacted by Charlie Kirk's assassination. I think that
she referenced that today.
She referenced it. You had speculated about that. I think that there's something where people can be part of something very toxic and they can spew hate themselves, but then when they actually see the end consequences of it, it's a weird parallel to make, but I think of myself and me breaking with Trump. There's a lot of points that I could have before, and I left before January 6th, but January 6th was such a encapsulation of all of these flags in my mind that I was okay, but I'm seeing this, I'm hearing this hateful rhetoric from him. But sometimes it takes something very physical and tangible like that to really change a person. But where what I appreciate about today's interview was we asked her a lot of tough questions. And even when it came to reflections on January 6th, I still think that she probably has some views that are maybe outside of the fact realm. I really wish I had gotten to ask her, but I wanted to get to my next point. Just simply, do you think the 2020 election was stolen? That wasn't clear to me.
No.
From the answer. There was more the BLM did this in 2020 and then
there were things and there were a lot of things that didn't seem to have a factual basis. And
and the more time we get with her, there's a real sincerity on certain issues, and then there's others that it's I would have liked to get more from you on that.
So there was a profile that someone just did. I'm forgetting.
New York Times,
and
Draper,
in there,
Robert Draper.
And he said she's still conspiratorial. Even when you talk about the stolen election, she kind of laughs because he said at one point, no one found any proof of an election being stolen, and she laughed almost you believe that. So I think she's still got that streak in her, whatever was
that was the interview where she talked about being naive early on, and she seems like she's come to terms with some of the things that she writes off as naivete, and other things she's still seemingly clinging to.
Well, and one thing in that profile that also hit me, and it's along the lines of the Charlie Kirk thing, is when Charlie Kirk's wife spoke, she said, "I forgive the man who did this." And then Trump spoke and said, I don't want good things for her. And she said, in that moment, I wrestled deeply with my faith. I watched someone do the hardest thing you could ever do, forgiving the person that killed your partner. And then I watched the president of the United States say something so awful. And I do believe that bothers her. I chatted a little at commercial because I said, I find it hard as a person of faith to imagine being in politics at all, because to be in the game, you have to play it. And there's so much ugly that goes on there. And she said that's been really hard for her. I think she's still in there. I tend to think when she says, I think she has a consistency thing that I appreciate.
Yeah, it's a little antithetical to say this, but the fact that she does still cling to some of those beliefs the way she does makes me believe her sincerity on the things that have changed.
That's the point I was trying to make. I would agree with that. I do think there's something to that. I also think a lot of this is going to take time for her to unpack, and that's a journey that's only her own. Because you had asked last time about Nick Fuentes. I did as well today, following up on it. Not because I ever want to amplify someone as bigoted and hateful and evil as him, but because I've deep dived on how much influence he has. Some of the most powerful players on the right are really feel like they need his support. They need his endorsement. He's reaching millions of, especially young men, but young men and women. And you all saw her answer on air, but I even pressed a little bit at commercial, and she'd be fine with me saying this. She kind of downplayed how much influence he has. And to me, I don't think she's being insincere in saying that, but I think she's wrong. I think that there is a misunderstanding of how in the last 5 years some of these online influencers have gained so much traction and have such just dire and scary influence. And the sooner the older generation that's willing to speak up and lead recognizes that, the better we're going to be able to actually fix it.
Yeah, and we talked about it for a second with her. And again, I don't know if she's misguided, because I don't think she's being insincere, but we did ask further about it. And she said, the only time I hear about Nick Fuentes is in the media. I said, well, the mainstream media isn't covering Nick Fuentes. This is the right media, which I know she reads.
Yeah.
But she said, but the only time I'm asked about it, and I thought maybe she's only referencing the last time she was on our media, and I asked her about it. But we asked her about it because it is such a big rift on the right. And the influences to the point that Turning Point, Ben Shapiro made a massively powerful speech that flew in the face of some of the other people, and they were almost doing a back and forth on it. So this is a relevant topic that is scary and dangerous. And I can't believe she doesn't know about it, but maybe she doesn't distance herself as much as you'd have to after your question, because when you spelled out things he said, she tried to sidetrack it last time with
the free speech
criticism of Israel.
Oh, yeah.
And Nick Fuentes doesn't have an Israel problem. Yeah. He has a Jewish people problem and a black people problem and a female women problem. Like any other problem, he has it, and he is unapologetic.
No, he's indefensible in a lot of what he says.
But I think it falls into that. Have you heard the term? I don't know if you say netter, Nettr, no enemy to the right.
Yeah.
It's a phrase I've seen dropped a lot. So I also wonder if I think some of the people pursuing his interest are maybe not deep down okay with what he says, but there's no enemy to the right, which means I'll take your voters and there's no enemy to the right.
It's the toxic jersey wearing at absolutely any cost.
Wow. It's interesting. The split in MAGA is new. I mean, it's something that for the longest time, we've talked about it on the show quite a bit. There's nothing that can happen that will make people turn away from Donald Trump. This isn't about Donald Trump, but this is about the factions. And a little bit it's about what happens when Donald Trump isn't president anymore and where this movement goes. And it's really powerful voices on both sides, really influential voices on both sides. We saw it yesterday, Matt Gaetz and
Dan Bongino
were having a public feud all day. I think we'll probably talk more about it on the live show as things go. The problem is every day there's some giant thing happening that
we're seizing Greenland.
Another ship, another country.
So this gets to the side. But it is interesting. We spend so much time talking about the future of the Democratic Party. I think it is interesting to talk about this too. Speaking of the Democrats, yesterday we had Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett on the show, who's another very powerful voice. She's running for Senate in Texas, and she said she has the numbers to win despite Democrats not winning statewide in 30 years. What do you guys think? Does she have a chance?
So I talked to her off camera, and I think she'd be comfortable with me sharing this, but I think she acknowledges she has an uphill battle. She's doing the work. She's from pollsters to message testing to ground game. She knows what she has to do. But I think what she and I agreed on off air is there's still a GOP primary. So John Cornyn's held the Senate seat there for 4 terms. So he's been there 20 years. He's pretty beloved in the state. If it's Cornyn, it's much harder for Jasmine Crockett. If it's Ken Paxton, who's a very controversial figure, he's in this public divorce. He's had a number of allegations against him in the state. There is definitely a world in which she could beat him. It's still uphill, but I think what happens with the GOP primary almost matters as much. What I did want to say, which is kind of separate from the race there, I really appreciate her answer on Marjorie Taylor Greene, because there was she could have gone, bleach blonde, kind of the punchy Jasmine Crockett, but she went with giving her grace and kind of being like, I'm open to seeing what she actually believes and if change is coming. And I didn't know if that was going to be your answer or not, but I thought it was.
Yeah, if they have, they are enemies. They were literally enemies.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody.
No, and exchanged very cruel exchanges.
Yeah, a lot of vitriol there.
So I enjoy her in person, but one thing that I don't know if she has a chance is someone who I'm an independent. And when I criticize the left, the rift on the left is this battle between the resistance movement of we will fight no matter what, or I'm going to be a solutions person. Me personally, I'm a common sense, pragmatic, solutions based, and that's what we're seeing win in elections. That's what Mikey Sherrill, that's what Abby Spamberger, those are the more my type of people. So when I see her in her ad, I see someone who's just doubling down on resistance. I would say the American people across the spectrum are done with just resist and fight. They want to be able to afford their groceries. They want health care. It's back to basics. It's becoming the most unifying issue across every voting population is just help me. Like, just do some stuff for me. We're done watching the fights, the ceremonial censures, the impeachments, the congressional oversights. Like, give us some policy, fix our problems. And I think she's running purely on resistance.
I think you're right about a lot of that, especially what people want. The one thing I will say is for a long time at the table, we've been talking about a lack of charisma and fight from the Democrats since this election, since this last one. And there are these people that do seem to be standing out now, like Jasmine, like Gavin Newsom, that maybe have figured out a little bit way to stick out and to fire people up. And I wonder, and I don't know, and we talked about it with Bernie Sanders and AOC when they were touring and getting those people out there
but
too.
I think I agree, but I think that's rock solid Democrats that want to see more fight from their leaders. And I think they're totally right in that. I'm not sure I see a lot of data that it's movable voters that are like, I want the Democrats to fight harder. I think they want to feel like there's a juxtaposition on policy,
like
and
independents and moderates.
Yeah,
You're saying that
really
winnable brand, or they're not, and that's me. I'm not sold on this.
And that's where, like, this is what's gonna be. I think it's gonna be interesting because I really also like James Talarico, the Democrat.
He's going to be booked on the. He's on the show the next month, I think.
So he's also in that primary with Jasmine Crockett, and they pull different constituencies. They're both super credible, great communicators.
He's very charismatic too.
Very charismatic. But he's been a little less of a resistance firebrand and a lot more like, hey, here's what Trump said he was going to do for you. I could see why you would have thought that a vote for him was going to help you, but here's what's actually happening and what I'm going to do for you. I think that's how you reach people. I just say it's like a lot of my family are Trump voters. A lot of my friends are. That's how you're going to change someone's mind, not like the pure resistance. And I think that's how you win in Texas. But
that's the question.
One other point, though, about Jasmine Crockett is she addresses people that are more pragmatic as Republican light. Only a jersey-wearing Democrat would put it in partisan terms, meaning when I refer to these things, I'm saying I want solutions, and most people I know, especially independents, that's all we're looking for. But when you slap Republican on it, you're looking through partisan lenses. So if you don't see the solutions that a lot of the Talarico, all these people I'm mentioning are making, and you see it as just going toward being Republican, you might be missing a majority of the voting public across the boards.
One thing, I think it was Sunny who said it to me, or maybe it was Jasmine, but the part of, I think, her goal is to, rather than change hearts and minds in Texas, to turn out people out there. And maybe that's where some of the fire might be able to do it, but I don't know.
She and I did talk about this a little bit off air, and she's very aware of the numbers, and I think she has a strong team around her. She's looking to replicate basically what Beto did, and I want to say that's 2018. He was the closest a Dem had come to winning. He lost, but he was the closest margin a Dem had come in something like 20 years. And then she's wanting to turn out low propensity Black voters and younger voters. That's smart from a strategy perspective. But I think if you close the door, and this was something Katie Porter ran into in California and had to walk back to potentially winning over soft Trump voters who, I'm in Texas. I've always kind of voted Republican, so I did, but now I'm disappointed. This manufacturing, she referenced a plant that was closing. Like, those are people who are going to get her across the finish line. So I think the more she can talk about the tangibles like she had referenced there, the more she might be able to get some of those people.
All right, will be interesting to see, and I'm excited to have James on too.
Yeah, he's
I'm
very
really
impressive.
excited to meet him. He took no PAC money. He raised all his money from low donors, and to me, that's what all of DC should be.
Correct. And a lot of people say they're going to do that, but don't actually do it.
He's done it according to what I read.
All right, let's talk about your holidays, because this is the first time we've had you on the podcast since then. How was it for both of you? So you obviously very pregnant. Did you get to do anything, or were you just kind of
Okay, so I told Sara this story. My holiday was a lesson in making lemonade out of lemons. So very quickly, we were supposed to do our baby moon. We were going to go to Blackberry Farm in the Smoky Mountains and just like luxury, beautiful. But my dog Desi, the older of the two, had to have surgery last minute. And no moment I love my husband more than a few weeks before the trip. He's like, hey, would you hate me if we postpone the trip? I just don't like the idea of leaving Desi with a sitter when he's in pain and recovering.
Oh.
And I'd been thinking that too, but didn't say it. And I was like, yes. So we agreed to just stay home, which was fine. I love being in my house. I love nesting. But then we had my in-laws. They both got the super flu. So they're like quarantined in different parts of my house.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm staying away from everyone because I'm so pregnant. I already had gotten sick a couple of weeks ago when I was out. But it was one of those things where it's like, this is real life. I love the holidays to be perfect. I put so much effort into them. My mother-in-law put so much effort in. And they weren't perfect, but it was such a reminder of like, I love my family. And even if we're in like a sick home and I'm uncomfortable and everyone is, I still feel like beyond blessed.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. No, I'm sorry everyone was sick, but
So
Sick is the worst part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about you, Sarah?
We it was great. We hunkered down through the holiday because Sandra's birthday is the 23rd, so right before. But then we were able to go to my parents the 26th through the 31st, and I got to see both my sisters. I even saw my brother, my nephews. I didn't get to see my niece, but whatever. We all, my parents, my mom's not very mobile, and my dad's hips bothering him, so we were like doing basic things. I don't need much. I just need the people. So we did our Christmas walk around the block. We fished. We ate delicious food and just hung out. It was like, and I think the older my parents get, the more I just want just to see them.
Understandable.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
quality.
think that's great. I know there's a story about a gift from your mother-in-law.
Oh, here we go. So
I'm dying.
after
I don't know this story. I'm going in dark.
So after we got back, my mother-in-law, who is lovely, wanted to come over because she had a gift for Sandra, belated. And Max and I we were a couple drinks in, so I'm going to go ahead and put that out there because the reaction might have been too honest. But she walks over, and I'm going to set the stage. She kind of reminds me of Moira from Schitt's Creek.
Oh, sure. Your favorite show?
It's not a hodgepodge accent. It's a Russian accent, but she had bright lipstick, and she was going dancing that night to do tango, and she's
Amazing.
like a character. She walks in, and she takes this piece of art, and she goes, "Here."
Stop.
She leaves it on the
I
chair.
love it.
No, you guys, she leaves it on the chair. She goes like this. It is art. You watch it. The eyes follow you. And the eyes will follow you wherever you walk. It was not made in China. That's what she said. This was not made in China.
Is it made in Mother
I
Russia?
looked at her and I literally inhaled my gin and tonic, and I proceeded to look at Max, who's dying. We're both like, there's no way you can communicate when you are losing your mind over this eight-year-old gift for my.
It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Well, Sandra walks in and we go, Bob, got you a present. Sandra looks over, she goes, oh. And we're like, what do you say? And she's like, thank you. Like, it was, we don't know what this is. She
a
said,
Russian
but it's
cat.
royalty. It's royalty, and there's an animal, and
It's dignified. I like it.
It's sort of like Whoopi would like it.
she had so many words for this.
I mean, if you bring it in, I'll hang it in the studio here. Like, I mean, that's.
But like,
Sapna Shah, the cat.
Does he have a name?
Amazing.
She have a name?
There's right. It's I don't even
you
know
guys,
what language.
come on, like what
All
the
right,
hell?
so you know what? I just realized that as many people watch this as on YouTube, many more are listening to it
yeah.
on
Oh,
audio.
sorry.
Okay,
So
So
can you
it is
explain this,
a
please?
regal-looking cat. It looks like a woman's lower body with beads and a Victorian dress and a high lace collar. And then there is
Is there like a
standard
military
cat.
aspect to it?
No,
Maybe.
it's. I think it's more like
it's-
Victorian.
It's framed.
It's
it is
framed.
Regal.
The cat, as she said, the cat it shows so much emotion, and I think she means no emotion.
She has ruffles.
That's what I mean, like a lace ruffle. It's moody.
What did Sandra think?
Well, Sandra did not know. She couldn't understand if she kept saying, wait, but that's for me. It was like, this is your gift. And we laughed until we couldn't spit out a sentence. And the sad
good.
part is like, I don't want to ever laugh at someone. Like,
No, it's the whole, yeah.
But we were blatantly laughing at her. And with the gin and tonic, I couldn't stop. And then I inhaled it. Then I was choking. Then Max was dying. It was like a self-destruction of a comedy of errors. And Sandra was scared of it. And then she wanted us to hide it. And
It could be scary. I could see it's very like
I'm obsessed with it
Rasputin or
personally.
something.
Yes, it looks like Rasputin. Yeah. It's definitely Russian feeling.
yeah, it's got some Russian vibes on it.
Yeah. It's gonna invade Ukraine at any time.
It's definitely going to take land without congressional support.
Yeah, exactly. That cat's invading somewhere.
But it was just, it tracks. But then our sweet Samantha, who watches the kids, her husband's Russian too. And she showed us what her mom's gotten at her over the years. And one time for grown adult, like a few years ago, a ride on horse that she and her husband posed on and gave it to us. This year was a reindeer nutcracker with a big thing of nuts and and she said it must be a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it.
We, my sister-in-law is German. She's German-American, but born in Munich, has dual citizenship, and her German parents and brother spend time with us. We're very close with them. They're the best people.
We've met them.
Yeah, yes.
They're lovely.
But there's always like these little German quirks that show. It's so fun to have family of like different backgrounds.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember 2 years ago, Ella, my little niece, who's now 4, but she would have been 3 at the time, for Christmas, they were like, oh, what does she want? And, my brother-in-law is like, maybe some dress-up items, or she's really into reading some books. And they're like, we're going to be getting her a shelf. She could use a shelf in her room. And I was like, that is like the coldest German gift you could possibly give.
An
is
empty
a child
shelf.
like, here's
like
a
Eastern
shelf.
part of the
It's very
Eastern European.
It's an Eastern European thing.
I remember when I was like 12 or 13, and my grandmother got me for Christmas, and it was one of these kind of stories. But I think, at a certain point when there's that age difference in culture, she doesn't know what to get a 13-year-old boy. Right. And she got me something called a tangle. Do you remember what a tangle was? Mm-hmm. It was basically, it was like a sculpture of piping that you could
move it around. Like
you could like try
puzzle?
to like shape it a little bit, like it was almost like a piping version of like a slinky or something.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. I just did exactly what Sandra. Thank you. I think.
I have
but it's
another
been a
video
family
where
joke
we
for
snuck
years.
up with her on this, and she's like scared. We're like,
you have to name the cat.
Here's
She
your
needs
gift.
to pick a name for it. That's so funny.
Vladimir.
yeah, it's got to be a
Vladimir
Russian
cat.
name. It's got to be a Russian cat.
You know who does good grandma gifts is Joy, though.
Oh, yeah.
she'll kind of shop around, like
She
the
does real
set or hear
research.
things.
Mm-hmm.
She does real research. She knows the music that he likes. She knows
She got him
puts a
cool
lot of thought.
sneakers this year.
Yeah.
That was
Did
the
she
thing.
give him those sneakers?
She did. She got him the sneakers.
fought it off.
She broke and got him. She got me a Tom Ford tie. How about that? Look at that.
Okay,
Yeah,
Joy.
very nice.
Go Joy.
Go Joy. All right, Alyssa, before you go, we're just about a month away from your due date, which is crazy.
I'm so excited.
How are you feeling?
Okay, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm extremely excited. I am so uncomfortable. No one prepares you for just how uncomfortable the final stretch is. And I have heard from girlfriends, there's something like evolutionary about you forget about it once the baby arrives,
Yeah.
like all the negatives, because I feel like women wouldn't have kids again if they remembered like childbirth, lower back pain, not sleeping. I'm averaging 2.5 to 3 hours of sleep a night.
my gosh.
It's and I have this really weird thing that's happening. So we have a tall bed. Like it's quite high. I love it. It's gorgeous. But I can't sleep with my back toward empty space at that height for some reason right now, or I get vertigo. So I made Justin move a twin-size mattress onto the floor next to our bed, which is where I currently live. Like, I'm literally sleeping on the floor. He's like, honey, like...
Where are the dogs with you?
They're up in the bed with Justin. He's like, we can go into, like, another guest room. He's like, we can go anywhere in the house that you want to sleep. It's the only place I'm comfortable, and I'm getting up, like, every 45 minutes, so I kind of prefer not being in the bed with him and the dogs.
So you can't wait
But
for this baby to come.
He could not come soon enough.
Right.
And the nursery looks adorable, so we're ready for him. But it's rough.
Oh.
And if I seem foggy on the show, I keep forgetting basic words. I don't
You
sleep.
don't at all
anymore.
to me, and you look great.
Alyssa, I'm foggy and
yeah.
I'm not pregnant, so
Right.
you're fine.
Well, I mean, you've been here 6 or 7 times. How do you...
Yeah, exactly.
6, 7.
Sick.
Yeah. How do you... do you have any advice here
I've
for
told
Alyssa?
her this.
Yeah.
It's that one thing I wish I had done is women are, when our parents grew up, women stopped working, they slowed down. Like I worked out through my pregnancies. Women are very resilient. This is something we were built to do. But one thing I didn't do is take a break. Because you can work till the day you go, I did. And I said to Alyssa, take a couple days before you're literally having the baby to just sit at home, have Justin take a day off or whatever, watch some movies, just to pause, to pause. And
It's
like,
going to be 18 years before you do it again.
yeah, and it changes. And what's weird is I wouldn't change a second of it. But when I was struggling in the beginning, I was like, how long does this last? And they're like, and nobody could comfort me. And I was like, will I ever travel again? Like, how do you leave the house? It was so hard for me. And here we are almost at our 10-year anniversary of a baby, because in March, Alec turns 10. Wow. And there are still things we're going through. And I'm like, this is a long road. And it is always evolving, but I wished I had paused.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't want like my water to break on set, so maybe I'll take the day before off.
Well, I mean, you are doing sweeps, so I was kind of hoping.
Yeah,
I
right.
was, I don't mind it. You know, speaking of which, one of the things Heather and I did before we had our first, we spent an entire day. It was one of those things where she couldn't walk around or anything else.
Yeah.
We watched on Netflix and Disney Plus and streaming all the child delivery episodes of all the sitcoms from all the years. We spent like the whole day
That's
watching
funny.
them.
Where they scream and
Yeah,
yell.
where like crazy things happen on the way to the
Yep.
delivery room and stuff like that. It was very fun. We did that. It was like Friends and all that stuff. Yeah,
Epidural baby.
Epidural.
Yes. But that's actually a great idea.
it was fun. It was fun. All right, well, that's all the time we have for today. I just want to point out that whenever you go, you are coming back. It's going to be great. We can't wait.
Oh, yes, you are.
Thank you for joining me, Sara and Alyssa. Tomorrow, I'll be back with Anna Navarro, and we will see you then.